Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariah and today I am going to plan out my February so that it doesn't slip away from me. If you're new here, I am writing a children's novel. I am currently almost done with my first draft, and that is my goal for the beginning of this year, to finish my first draft so that I can get to revising my novel. It is a mild fantasy. Put a pin in that. We're brainstorming the full genre of this novel, but that is what I'm currently working on. And if you also don't know, I am pregnant. So I have just a couple months before the baby gets here, and that is another reason I wanted to plan out everything so that time just doesn't slip away from me, and then all of a sudden my life is forever changed. If any of you have kids, you probably know that before you have them, you are trying to get as much done as possible to sort of prepare, or at least not have full chaos when the baby gets here. At least that is where my mind is at. So I am really trying to get as much done, and on top of that, being pregnant does something to your brain where you cannot hold on to thoughts to save your life. So I don't want anything to slip through the cracks because I forget about it. And as a creative, I feel like we always have a million things we have planned or running around in our brains. So I wanted to try and put it all down, or at least brainstorm some of it, plan it out so that maybe it might get done, or at least get thought of in the month of February. So what I've done is made my own little planner spread for the month of February. And the reason I've done this is because I don't have like a pre-dated planner or calendar or something. So I just drew one up really quick and plotted out the month of February. And my hope is that I can fill it out with important appointments, meetings, things that I have to deal with, and then also add in things that I want to get done, things like personal things that need to get done, baby things that need to get done. All of those kinds of things, I want to list them out, or at least jot them down so that they are all in one place and I don't have a million pieces of paper or a million notebooks filled with different things, which is what tends to happen with me. So that's my plan for this video. I think another thing that I wanted to kind of lend some brain power to is the fact that I have a lot of creative ideas that I want to get to, that I'm really excited for, but originally I was trying to focus on writing my book first, at least getting through the first draft, and then letting myself explore other things. But I don't know how well that is working. I feel like I might need something else to work on. But I think it'll be good to give myself the freedom to explore these other ideas that I have, just for the sake of working on something that I'm excited about. And I'm still very excited about my book. I cannot believe I've come this far. I'm so proud of myself, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But it's a book is a big project, even a kid's book. I know that I'm shooting for like early middle grade, so like chapter book kind of territory. Even that is a huge feat, that's a lot of words to write. Having said all that, I think we should get into planning. Okay, so I'm trying something new. We'll see how this goes. I know that we are actually, today's the 5th. So I've already done all of these other days. Okay, and so today I wanted to film this video and then do laundry. I normally do laundry on like Tuesdays or Thursdays, so that's kind of like a given on any of those 2 days. So I think I'm just gonna go through and mark things that I know happen on specific days That way I can just get that out of the way. I've already done that with like work and scheduled things that we already have. So I'll go ahead and try and fill in the rest. Okay, and then I'm going to go through and figure out what I need to do this week. So things that I need to check off my to-do list, or things that I want to get done or hope to get done, which definitely includes editing this video. Hopefully I can finish it before the end of the week. And I also have a list of like ongoing things that need to get done before the baby. So these aren't necessarily like things that have to be done right away, but they're just things for me to remember to do. So I have them on the side and I can add to them or check them off as needed. But if I have a specific day that I'm like, oh, I'm not doing very much, maybe I can schedule this, or maybe we can look into that. So another thing that I want to go ahead and put in here is some writing time. I definitely want to get some writing done. That's something I really want to focus on this year, and not just writing my book that you guys know about, but I'm also working on some other things. And I think I mentioned briefly some ideas at the beginning. Maybe I wasn't specific, but I have some ideas that I want to work on and kind of expand upon. And there was also some poetry inspiration that struck me last week, and I actually wrote like four or five poems to go along with this inspiration. So I don't know when that will, come to fruition or become anything that I can share with you, but so far I'm really enjoying it, and it's feeling really fulfilling and satisfying, like something that I need to be doing artistically. Just as an artist, this is really calling to me, and it feels like something that I need to do. And right now is the perfect time for it. Okay, so let me write in some of the writing chunks that I want to do. I think for now, evenings are probably going to work for me to get some stuff done. So I think another thing that is going to help me is to kind of have a general idea of the week and then allow myself to change it as it comes, and be pretty flexible. And on top of all of this, there are definitely some baby-related things that I want to get done. I'm gonna mark some of those things off as well. Sorry if my planning seems a little chaotic. It's just that I try and think of things a little bit at a time, and then I always remember, oh yeah, I need to do this too, or oh, this should have gone with this section. So I'm constantly rearranging things and reordering things, but I feel like that's part of planning and part of organizing. I feel like it always gets messier before it gets better. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave it here. I know I haven't filled out all of February, but I think I have a general idea of like how I see each week going, and of course, I'm sure some things are going to pop up and some of these things are going to get moved around a little bit, but I feel pretty good that, these last 2 weeks will look similar to these 2 weeks that I already have written down. So I don't want to get too ahead of myself and have to change too much, but I think this is a good start, a good plan of like putting things down on paper, really getting it out of my head and into more solid, concrete form for me to look at. That definitely helps keep my mind clear, but also not forget the things that I need to get done and the things I want to work on. So, I think let's hop back into a better situation. Okay, so that was me planning February, making sure that I have all of these random to-do lists that I had put in random notebooks and put them all in one place so that I can easily find them when I need them. I feel a lot better. I think this will help me just remind myself, stay on track, kind of create more of a routine, because January completely threw any of that out the window that I had. And so I really want to figure out what that might look like for me now. So I kind of wanted to touch on a couple of things, I think. I have this idea in my head for a monthly letter. And now I'm kind of still brainstorming like what that means and what that looks like. But I just have this fun vision in my head of maybe even making it into a video, but having like a monthly letter that goes out to you guys that maybe kind of touches on the month that we just had, the month ahead, but also in a way that is super, personal for me, and as an artist, something that really resonates with me and is very, just very, very personal. I think that would be such a sweet idea, and that's something I definitely want to work on. So I'm still working on that, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it's a fun idea. And I definitely want it centered around, this community that we're building and artistry, poetry, writing. I think it's really an important time in the world right now, in everybody's lives, for art. I think art is important no matter what's going on in the world, but especially when things are tough and chaotic and confusing and a lot is changing constantly. Art is so important and artists are so important. I think people need to share their art. I think the world needs to rediscover art in a sense. I feel like we've become so saturated with quick, surface level content, really. Even movies nowadays, that's what we've become accustomed to. And I'm not saying there's not a place for that, but I'm also saying that sometimes we need to dig a little deeper. Sometimes we need things that speak to areas of ourselves that we don't access every day. Life is so busy and chaotic, and we just go about our days. I feel like maybe it's the romantic in me, the poet in me that really reaches for these things, but I feel like humanity really needs to rediscover what it looks like to be human and to be compassionate. We are social creatures, we are community-based creatures, and I think we need to really access that. We really need to harness that, I think that is really important, because if we lose that, so much more horrible things can happen, and horrible things are already happening, and I don't know, the world is a mess, and I just feel like art is so important, and it always has been. And if you look back, there are always these great art movements in history, and I feel like they're always tied to or following or right before these like massive changes in society. And I think it's true that art reflects life and life reflects art. It's the big circle of life, you know what I mean? Especially as humans, like, art is something that is specific to us. Maybe I'm going on a long-winded tangent that doesn't really mean anything, or I don't know, like maybe I'm just rambling and talking in circles. But I do feel very passionately about this, and I do want to contribute. Yes, the world is chaotic. Yes, we live very busy, demanding lives, and things only seem to be going downhill, but there are still beautiful things, and sometimes we explore the difficult things too, and art just really speaks to all of that. And I think it's important that we fight for art, because as artists, if we don't, nobody else is going to. I think that's what it boils down to. I think that we need to make sure that art survives. And of course, it probably will, and has so far, it always has. I feel like we've created, it's a very symbiotic relationship between art and humans, and it's something that we need and that needs us. And I hope as fellow artists that you will also see what I'm trying to say. that you know, the world needs our art, and we need to continue making it, we need to share it, we need to inspire others to make art, because you never know what can come from it. You never know what changes art can make. And even if it takes 100 years, even if we never see what changes our art makes in the world, it's still so important to make it and to share it. And it's the artist's way. It's what we are made to do, you know? We wouldn't be so drawn to creating if it didn't need to be created. Wow. I don't know where all of this is coming from. I did not expect it to get so philosophical and abstract. But I guess that's just where I'm at right now, and I just really felt the need to share that. So hopefully this, you know, inspires you to like keep going and keep working, and even when things seem hopeless, it's never hopeless to create art. Anyway, before I talk in circles again, I think this is where I'm going to end the video. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for subscribing, becoming a part of this community that we're creating. This has been so fun, and I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing updates on what you're working on, even about what you're struggling with as well. You know, we're all in this together, and we all struggle with different things. We can all help each other and just relate to each other, and that is so special and so fun, and I'm so glad that we are slowly growing this community so that we can continue to be that for each other. And I'm, you know, just really thankful for each and every one of you who decided to follow along. And I can't wait to share more of my book and my poetry and my writing process in general. I think this year is going to be really special for so many reasons. And so I really hope that you have, if you have not already, that you will join, you will subscribe to join this community, and like this video if you liked it. Leave a comment telling me what you're planning for February, what you're working on, if you're struggling with anything. I'd love to hear about it. And let me know your thoughts about art and the discussion that I kind of started. So if you have differing thoughts, or if you have more to add, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear your perspectives. So thank you again, and I will see you again next time. Bye!